Born and died, saved by love, count my blessing from above.
And good evening, or good afternoon, or good morning, depending upon where you are. I am Marcus Holmes, the love activist, the facilitator of the Love and Stuff community, and I'm excited that you are joining us for yet another episode of Love, where we want to increase the amount of love in the world. And boy, do I have a guest who has been on with us before, who has a compelling story that he will share with you, and an opportunity. That's right, an opportunity for you to make a difference in the amount of love in this world and the amount of love in your life. So take a moment and click share, tag 5 of your closest Facebook friends or YouTube connections, Twitch TV, 5 of the more popular ones to join us tonight in this discussion about self-love ultimately, but it's a challenge that we want you to join in and embark upon. And I do have my guest here. I see him in the green room, but I just need him to turn the camera on so that I can have him on. We're waiting for his camera to spin in, and we're just excited to have him to join us in this little champions challenge. It's a challenge all about love, and what our world needs more of is love. And so I'm excited to have him on as he is working through some camera challenges, maybe. All right. So I'm excited to have him here with us. All right. So I'm working to get him acclimated and situated. There's no business like show business. All right. While he's coming, I want to remind you of a few things. We are in the month of May, as you may know. And if you are with us on a self-care journey, we're on a 12-month self-care journey. That's right. We started this in January with sleep, February with eating right, March with physical fitness and exercise, April with setting boundaries, and now we're in May, treating yourself. And so if you are on a journey to fall back in love with yourself, if you're on a journey to be your best self, I invite you to join us on this journey. Christina Smith has joined us. Thank you so much, Christina. I hope you will click share and tag some folks to join us. We've got a challenge that I know will tug on your heart and that you will be a part of, a very great part of our community who is experiencing some new love. We're going to have her on to talk a little bit about that. But we're in the month of May, and it's Treat Yourself Month. Treat yourself. You treat everybody else, and hopefully you're treating them well. Ask yourself, are you treating yourself? This is Treat Yourself Month. And I will just share, as many of you know, Autumn is like a daughter to me. I adore her, and she is getting the opportunity this weekend to have her commencement ceremony. She matriculated from the University of Michigan here in Michigan in 2020, but because of the pandemic, they were unable to do that. And she was just telling me, Uncle, I'm setting boundaries. I am doing no sugar until I see a way forward. She said, I'm going to have weekend cheats, but I'm going to do no sugar because that's one of the boundaries that she's setting. So see, we're layering on the self-care. Boundaries are important. They are effective if you stick to them. And it doesn't mean that people won't try to violate your boundaries, that they won't try to cross your boundaries. It simply means that you get to set a boundary from which you decide to retreat, meaning that people cannot infringe upon that boundary. All right. So I'm trying to get Dariel on camera. Dariel, sir, can you hear me? All right. So we got to work something out. Something's happening in the background. We're going to keep going. All right. All right. Having a little trouble with that camera. Okay. All right. Yes, Christina, inbox me. There's a way that you can help with this celebration. Congratulations. So, but we're in the month of May, and May is treat yourself. I think it's important that if you're on a journey, if you are learning how you have you ever been in love or in like or in lust, and you found out the little things that that partner liked or didn't, right? And out of the blue, out of nowhere, you would just strategically do these little treats to him or her. You know, the little way that people like their clothes folded. For some of you, that might be the little way you like the corners of the mac and cheese to be crisp. Anybody know what that is? Or the little ways you like the peach cobbler to just be oh so mwah, right? Whatever that little thing is, that little perfume spray in the bathroom, whatever the thing is, was a treat to the person that you were doing it for. I want you to think about yourself. Insert self and say, self. You're supposed to say self right there. Self, what do I love to indulge in? That is a treat. And remember, we talked about when we were talking about eating right, that you should have an 80-20 bucket. 80% of the food that you eat should nourish you. It should be for the purpose of nourishment. 20% should be for the purpose of pleasure. Now let's look at that. Let's spin it a little bit. What about in the month of May? You said 80% of the time, I'm going to go hard for the dreams and goals that I have. And 20% of the time, I'm going to treat myself. Create you 2 buckets in the month of May. We're only 3 days in. And in one of those buckets, go hard for the things, your education, your career, your family, your financial structure. Go hard 80% of the time. But set aside 20% of the time this month to treat yourself. And treat doesn't mean that you have to blow an entire check or a certain amount of savings. It is the indulging in something that you know brings you a source of inspiration and joy, that fills you up. Come on, it might be that decadent chocolate. Now, not for Autumn, she's giving up chocolate sweets. It might be that pizza that you can only have 2 slices of. It might be going away to the park as it's getting warmer, or maybe it's warm already where you are, and just having a picnic for yourself, a glass of wine, Chardonnay, bubbly, whatever it is that you do, some sandwiches. It might be going hang gliding, whatever it is that brings you some source of joy, some source of adventure. You're stimulated, you feel awakened, you feel alive. That's what I mean by treat yourself. I want to make sure I put in a disclaimer that the treat yourself should serve you well. It should not be a disservice to your mind, body, or soul, right? Because we can indulge in some things that don't serve us well. I'm not talking about those things. We'll get to those things in another month. Actually, you should have started setting some boundaries last month. But these things that you're going to treat yourself with in this month serve you well. When's the last time that, and finish that phrase, and insert something that serves you well? Treat yourself. All right, we're trying to give them a chance to get in here. While I'm talking, one more treat that I would love for you to share. I believe that the best expression besides Jesus the Christ himself of God's love in the earth are mothers. And you guessed it, Mother's Day is coming right up. I would love for as many of you that will join us on Mother's Day, I believe at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going to just play your video tributes to your mother. You can inbox me at Love and Stuff with your video, no more than 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes of your video. Looks like, is it coming in? Dariel, can you hear me? I'm getting no voice from you, sir. I'm trying hard because I definitely want him to be here with us. All right. Sunday's Mother's Day. No more than 5 minutes, no shorter than 3. Tell us one of the stories about your mom. Share with us one of the lessons that she taught you. I think there's a song that Shirley Caesar sings, I Remember Mama. Well, share with us some of the things you remember about your mom, your MT, your Gram T, your Nana, your Big Ma, your Ma dear, Grandma, whomever is the person or persons that helped to rear you into the person that you are today. If you're like me, you have a debt owed to your mother. And I invite you to join us on Sunday to share those videos with us. All right. All right. I want to check in with you across platforms. I see we have people on every platform, and I appreciate that so much. If you'll drop in the comments, like you're seeing Christina and Tabitha, who I love, both of them are valued folks in the community. And I hope that they will click share as well as we're waiting for Dariel Walker to join us. He's having a little bit of challenge. It looks like I'm swiping him in, but I'm not getting anything in the background. And so I hope that you will submit your video and click share. Tag 5 of your closest friends, 5 of the more popular ones to join us in the discussion. All right. So one more thing I want to share with you. Tomorrow at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Darren Williams from our community, who we love from the community. He's homegrown in the D, but he lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Educator, historian, preacher extraordinaire, leads us in our newest offering, Love and the Scriptures. At 6 p.m. for just 30 minutes, Darren helps us to explore, hey, what do the scriptures say about love? And how can we draw on the nuggets there and apply them to our lives? So don't miss it. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, every Wednesday. Love and the Scriptures with Darren Williams. Thank you, Bilal Muhammad, for joining us. Click share. What up, Doe? He says that's from Detroit. Or some folks outside of Detroit might say, what up, Doe? But y'all got it from us, I think. What up, Doe? Glad to have you. Hope you will click share and tag someone to join us. All right. So I'm working hard to get Dariel Walker in here. And those of you that have been in and around the Love and Stuff community, you know we're entering into a 5-year celebration. We've been around for a little bit. And we've had our ups and downs through the pandemic. And we're just excited to still be a community that is still trying to increase the amount of love in the world. That's our goal. That's what we want to do. And so Dariel Walker has been on with us before and shared from his story, very compelling story. And I'm going to show a picture of his beautiful children, Michaela and DJ, which is Daryl Joseph. He's a junior. A beautiful picture of them. I believe they were 3 and 2 or 4 and 3 when they were tragically taken away from him at the hands of their mother. And Daryl has committed his life to celebrating these little angels with a little angels, little champions challenge. And so he has this little champions challenge where his mission is to honor the lives of these 2 little angels by promoting positive self-image, eliminating mental health stigmas, and letting the world know that in the face of adversity, you can win. In the face of adversity, you, my friend, you can win. I think that's so important. And what resolve, what resilience I believe it takes for a father to experience what he has. I am anxious to have him on in any moment. I'm very anxious to have him on. All right, I hear somebody coming in the green room. All right, we're going to keep trying. All right. Because I think his story should be told. Let's see if I can get him in. Can you hear me? Nope, his camera's not activated. Okay, he's going to try it again. We're going to get it because we want you to be able to participate in this challenge. Let me pull up this picture of him. Aren't they adorable? That's Daryl and DJ and Michaela. Michaela was the oldest, and DJ, um, which is a junior for Daryl Joseph. And I want him to come and tell you a little bit about how their names were chosen, and to really show you how powerful, how truly powerful love is. Love has a healing power. Love has the power to help you forgive and to ignite your spirit to align with a cause that will increase the opposite of what you've experienced in your love journey. That's one of the most amazing things, my friends, about love. You know, love can see the ugliest of crosses, the ugliest of hills, the ugliest of trials, the ugliest of crucifixions, the ugliest of mockings and beatings and humiliations. But that same love is then resurrected, rises up in power to heal the very people and the very things that came against it. And that's what the power of love is doing in this young man's life through this My Champions Challenge that he wants you to help him to join in, which helps to keep the memory and life of these precious angels alive and helps you and I to unlock the power of love, self-love, mental wellness, mental health in our own lives. And so kudos to him, and we're going to keep trying to get him in. He's having that trouble with getting into the browser. All right. I'm going to give him a chance to do that. And while he is doing that, I want you to know, because we've had in and around the Love and Stuff community others who have experienced extreme trial and hardship, who have suffered sudden loss, who have watched parents um, almost drift away, who have watched relationships crumble before them, who have seen and experienced some of the hardest and ugliest experiences that might be known to man. But I want you to be encouraged by Daryl's story that even though you've been taken to a place of feels like deep despair and desolation, that love has the power to transcend that and the power to lift you up out of it. Okay, let's see if we can bring him in again. I was trying to get in here. Can you hear me, sir? Okay, mic's not activated. Okay, you know how show business can be. I will continue by showing you another one of the pictures. And I am also very heartened. I will even say very impressed that Daryl spends his time, though he went through the grief process, and I'm sure he will tell us that he continues to go through a grief process. There is Michaela and DJ again with their dad in a time where, if you've ever thought about, reminisced about being with your dad as a kid and hanging out and having fun times, you understand what you saw in that picture. And using the power of memory, I write a little bit about it in the Gratefulness Journey every day, using the power of memory to stack good memories, to pull from the archive of memories in times that you are low, in times of despair. Your brain builds shortcuts to find the things that release endorphins, that make you feel good, that the serotonin is happening. Your brain creates a shortcut. And when you experience it, your brain says, oh, let's go back there quicker. Let's get back there more quickly. And so it creates these shortcuts, you see, to take you through a place where you feel safe, you feel whole, and you feel joy. Now, think about that your brain and all of the power that the Creator has made in your brain, built in, is a way for you to build new pathways to gratefulness, new pathways to good memories, new pathways to the things that serve you well, that you can call on them more quickly to remind yourself that you're not living in constant fight or flight. And those pathways can work so well that when you are doing something that you enjoy, you're in what one psychologist calls flow. You're in flow, which is the time when you're doing something and you're not cognizant of the time. Maybe a singer is on the second chorus and he forgets he said I was going to do a verse and a chorus, right? Or maybe you're in the kitchen cooking something and you forget that, hey, I needed to get some reading or something else done, but you're in your place, right? That's a flow place. And you can achieve that flow place even when you are in low times, if you will but access the power of those memories where you felt love. That's why I know that it's so important for you to remember. It's so important for you to remember not just to count the steps that you took, but count how you felt when you were in the best of the steps, so that you can summons those steps when it's time to go forward and you don't feel like you can go forward. You must remember that there were steps that you took in which you were confident, in which you were sure, in which you were at peace or equilibrium, at balance, in which you felt the power, the presence of love. Your mind already has shortcuts built in to do that. And so when Daryl gets on, I think he's going to share some of that with you about how this journey has helped him to press forward, to say, I won't give up. Even though I've seen some dark days, I will not give up. I will continue to live out the purpose of fatherhood, the purpose of caregiving for my children, even though they're on the other side, the purpose of being an example and a presence for other children, for others to know that you too can transcend adversity. We're talking tonight as we're awaiting our guest, Dariel Walker, who is having some challenges. He's having some challenges breaking through the barrier of online. All right. All right. All right. We're going to give it another shot. He's having trouble with it. All right. Those of you that might be tuning in and clicking share, we are talking about an important aspect of self-love. Sometimes, as we're waiting for our guest to arrive, sometimes this may not happen to you, but you may know somebody that this has happened to. Sometimes when things in life happen, we regard those things as happening to us. Okay? Because things happen in life, and sometimes the things that happen in life, we regard those things as happening uniquely to us. Okay? Again, this might not be you, but this might be something you want to share with your neighbor. And sometimes those things that we think are happening to us, that we say, this is happening to me. Why is this happening to me? All of these things that are happening to me. Sometimes when we are in those moments and trying to get answers, we not only say, why are these things happening to me? We sometimes take the posture or position that I did something for this to happen to me, that this is in some way a repayment for, a penalty for something that I've done. And sometimes we take that a step further to say, well, this thing that I've done now makes me bad. So because these things that I say are bad that have happened to me, they happen to me uniquely, and I am bad. And it does a damaging blow, if we allow it, to our self-love. See, it shifts our thinking about our worthiness to be here in this world. Why am I still here? You know, you took this person, you took a spouse, you took a child, you took a parent, you took a sibling. Why did you do that to me? What did I do to you, God? What did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? Something's wrong with me. And then we concede to that notion. We buy into that narrative that something's wrong with me. Because my spouse left me and cheated, something's wrong with me. Because loved ones were taken away through slow, agonizing, debilitating illnesses, or quick as the light turns on, that happened to me. And so because it happened to me, something must be wrong with me. I mean, what world would there be where these things happen to me and something couldn't be wrong with me? All of the tragedy and all of the disappointments and the rejections and the betrayals, all of the bad karma and bad luck, all of the tax bills and all of the debt, all of these things that have happened, they're happening to me uniquely. And therefore, this must be my repayment. This must just be my plight in life. And somehow I'm devalued in that. I'm less valuable to God, to family, to people. My life is less valuable because I've endured these things, or I'm enduring these things. When it rains, it pours, even though it's really raining where I am and it's pouring. And so it must just be a cloud hovering over my life. And that does some damage for some people to this self-love consideration. It does some damage to your well-being, your mental health, because now you've shifted the paradigm to be, I'm going to let life happen to me because this is what I deserve, and I don't deserve very much. And when you don't feel like you deserve very much, you probably aren't going to do very much for yourself to grow and develop the love you have for yourself. You might be even doubting whether or not you can be lovable. And so, what I'm hoping in this sharing with Dariel Walker is that you see from his situation two beautiful children, preschool age children. I could still today only imagine the burden of receiving a phone call from the state police indicating that your two children, who were embroiled in a tough custody battle with your former spouse, have been taken by that spouse. All right, we're going to try it again. It looks like he's trying to join us again. Can you hear me, Daryl? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me? Okay, I can't hear you. Trying to bring you in. I can't hear you. Okay. All right, we're going to try you again. Okay. I want you to hear from this young man, and I want you to join the My Little Champions Challenge. Um, the My Little Champions organization, whose mission I will place up again, is to honor the lives of two little angels, Michaela and DJ, by promoting positive self image, eliminating mental health stigmas, and letting the world know that in the face of adversity, you can win. And you can. And as I'm going to continue to try to get them on for a little bit more, I want you to point like I'm pointing at you to yourself and say, you can win. I want you to look in the mirror or wherever you can see yourself. If you can't see yourself in this camera, get in the mirror now and say, whatever it is that you are experiencing, you can win. And maybe you will make that a daily affirmation for yourself, that you will say, you can win. And I know it would make sense, right, to say, I can win. But I want you to look yourself square in the mirror. I want you to look in those beautiful or handsome, round or slanted, big and brown or amber like mine. I want you to look into those eyes. I want you to see yourself looking at yourself, and I want you to talk to yourself. And I want you to free yourself from the limiting language that makes you think you're going to be burnt out. You're going to succumb to these thoughts that you're having, these feelings that you're having, that you're overwhelmed. You can't do it. You can't take anymore. This is the last man that cheats on you. This is the last woman that takes your money. This is the last relationship. This is the last. I can't take no more. If one more thing happened, I want you to look into the mirror. And I want you to say, you, talking to yourself, you can win. I want you to say it with such fervor until the you in the mirror looks back at you convinced that the you in the mirror is going to win. That you will overcome everything that you are experiencing now. And if you need some help, did you know you're your strongest witness? That inside of the recesses of that brilliant brain, that powerful brain, that valuable brain that God created, are pathways for you to be able to testify to yourself of how you have made it. On broken pieces, maybe, but you made it to shore. You made it to shore before. And the record is written in your brain. So the goal of your mental wealth is to take inventory of all of the assets in your brain that are telling you not only do you know how to win, you've won before. The written record is there. Your goal is to unlock as much of it on demand. And I know everybody knows on demand, right? I'm rewatching Game of Thrones and I'm seeing layers of things I didn't see the first time I binge watched it. It's on demand, right? I can at any point in any day, and sometimes at night, I'm cheating on my sleep. Sometimes I have to tell you, I'm cheating on my sleep. Don't tell my sleep, but I'm cheating on my sleep. There he is. Some nights I am not I'm able to get it on demand. I'm going to cut it, but I'm so happy that he made it in. I'm so happy you made it in. I don't know what to do.
I'm sorry, having troubles over here.
That's okay.
Having difficulties.
Troubles don't last always. I'm so glad to have you, and let me say thank you. First of all, I admire the strength that I know it takes, or I think it takes. I'm not even sure I know it there. That I think it takes to do what you do. So it's been a few years, and some of our guests may not know who you are. I kind of hear a little bit of feedback there. So I don't know if you have two devices, but Some of our guests may not know your story. So tell us a little bit about your story. I did show a couple of the pictures. Can you tell us a little bit about um, one of the things I think you shared with us in the last interview, Daryl, was that you told us the meaning of Michaela's name and the meaning of your name, which is DJ's name. So start with a little bit about that.
Well, the meaning of my daughter Michaela's name was God's gift. Um,
And her middle name, Elena, means
um, Alina.
Alina.
Sorry.
Uh-oh. Now we lost we lost your picture, but we can still hear your voice. Now we lost your voice. We're gonna keep going. As you can see, he's having some technical challenges. But I'm determined to get his story out to you again. And so we will continue. I feel blessed to be the Prince of Herbert and the son of Princess because I have the gift of gab. Imagine a table filled with 7 people, 8, 9 people, and I am the one that's struggling to get a word in edgewise. I know you can't believe it, but that was the makings of all of this gift of gab. Came straight from my dad. And so I'm going to double back to that while we try to get Daryl back in. I want you to know that you have more evidence than the opposing sides or attorneys have. You got prima facie evidence. You got really good evidence that can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you win. Because you have won. Because you are here. If you can see me or hear me, and any variation thereof, you're a winner. You've won. And even when you don't feel like you're winning, your winning is in motion even when you feel like you're standing still. And all of the evidence of that is written in this brain. The goal is to speak as much limitless language instead of limited language until you unlock those recesses, until you unlock those portions to be able to convince yourself. I don't want you to spend your waking hours trying to convince somebody else to love you. You can do that if you want to. There you go. I want you to spend your waking hours convincing God, He ultimately knows, and yourself. Because if you get to the place where you convince yourself that you're worthy of love, regardless to what is happening around you, or even if you decide it's happening to you, that you can still invest in your love for you, you're going to be in the best position to love other people. And you're going to draw the kind of people that should be loving you. You're going to draw those kind of people that should be loving you. And you might drive some away that shouldn't, right? That aren't able to meet the expectation of the love that you set for yourself. We can be honest. We can set for ourselves some pretty low expectations about what the return on the love investment should be, right? But what happens if you decide that because you win, because you are a whole being, that the master teacher, the Rabboni, has willed into existence, willed into this earth school to learn a love lesson, be a love lesson, facilitate a love lesson, that you are here for the purpose of love, that love is the consideration. Darren Williams says it this way. His hashtag for love in the scriptures is love. Hashtag love is our ethic. Now let's think about that. if love is our ethic, if love is the very marrow to our bones of love, right? It supplies the blood of love, right? If it's the foundation upon how we pivot and turn the corners of integrity and the corners of civility, and how we bend the corner of grace, if that's so, if that's our ethic, it's got to be something that we apply to ourselves when nobody else is looking, and apply to ourselves in our darkest moments and hours. And that's what Dariel Walker is challenging us to do with the Little Angels Challenge, Little Champions Challenge, excuse me, that even when you're facing the darkest moments, can you imagine a dark moment? Can you imagine? If you're like me, you can only imagine. All right. I think he's coming back. Let's see if we get up. He's on screen. All right.
I'm having all types of troubles.
That's okay. I'm glad you made it back in. I think you're having all kinds of troubles because there are opposing forces to love that don't want your word to get out there. So I'm grateful that it will. And you were telling us about Michaela's name, and pronounce her middle name again for me because I think I mispronounced it.
Alina, Alina, Alina.
Okay.
That beautiful truth, bright. Yes.
So a beautiful truth, bright from God.
Yes.
Yes. And then your name means what?
I don't remember what my name means. My middle name, Joseph, means open, but my first name, I don't know what that means.
Okay. I jotted it down from the last time. I'll have to go back to find it. And so you get these two beautiful, I think all children are beautiful, but both of your children beautiful. You get these two beautiful children. And I showed pictures earlier. Can you tell us what was going on in this picture? I'm going to pull up this picture.
We were out in the backyard. I think it may have been Thanksgiving 1 year. We were just out in the backyard having a good time. Mm-hmm. And somehow that picture happened. I'm not really sure how, but it did.
Okay. And then tell us about this picture.
Well, we took the kids out for a boat ride. It was like their first time being on a boat, and it was very exciting for them. And we were just having a good day. My daughter Michaela loved the water. She loved being in the water. DJ not so much. He was a little bit afraid of the water. But yeah, it was just us hanging out.
Yeah. And how old were they when they were taken from us?
Michaela was 3.5. She would have been 4 and 2 months, and DJ was 2.5. Mm-hmm. And he would have been 3 and 4 months.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about each one of them, their personalities.
Michaela was very outgoing. She was like the leader. She kind of led her brother around. She was a very smart little girl. She was a great inspiration for me. My son DJ, he was a little bit on the shyer side, a lot of bit on the shyer side. Mm-hmm. But kind of near the end, he was really starting to come out of his shell. Mm-hmm. I think what kind of this challenge derived from is one of the things that started to help DJ come out of his shell. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's so important that I still do it and I continue to do it. But yeah, he was just kind of coming out of his shell, and he was kind of becoming a funny guy, kind of had a funny personality, and he was just starting to kind of come into his own little personality, I guess, if you will.
Yeah. And if you can share with the viewers that are not familiar with the story, what happened?
Well, back in 2018, there was a custody battle between Michaela and DJ and I's mom, and the result of it was she took their lives, and then she ended up taking her own life. And that's kind of the gist of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so you received a call, I guess, from the authorities notifying you of that. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. I got a phone call, and they actually didn't want to tell me what happened. They just wanted to talk to me. They wanted to find a place that they could meet me. They didn't want to tell me over the phone, and we met, and they told me what happened. And from then it was just kind of a roller coaster at that point. So
Yeah. I appreciate you recounting this. I'm sure you probably have recounted it to so many people, so I appreciate that.
yeah.
And I did ask you before, just before I moved on, um, how are you doing now? I guess how are you now? It's been a little bit of time, but how are you now?
I mean, I'm a lot better than what I was going through it. I mean, there's still memories and still challenges and stuff like that. I think one of the things that I kind of inspired to do to honor them was to just be a better version of myself, and I kind of strive to do that for them because I believe that that's what they deserve. Um, but I mean, just like anything, life has its challenges and ups and downs, and obstacles that we have to figure out along the way.
Yeah.
So,
And certainly these are the kind of challenges that I think just knock you off your feet kind of challenges.
oh
And
yeah,
that's
for a long time, sure.
one of the reasons why I'm glad this time came around where you could come back, May being Mental Health Awareness Month, that there are people that are grappling to be able to recover from whatever their experience. What would you say to those people, having walked the journey that you've had to walk?
Well, I think and there's a lot of things that you could say to a person based upon where they are in their journey.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's different places in the journey, and I guess it would be a little bit different depending on where you are. But I guess a big overall message would be that thoughts are things. And the things that you focus on, where you focus your thoughts, are very important. It's easy to kind of stay in a dark place by focusing on all of the negative sides of things, but you have to find a way to find more positive thoughts or more positive ways to look at things. For me, I began to look for ways to honor Michaela and DJ.
Mm-hmm.
And this was one of the ways that, I found to honor them. One of my friends suggested that I have a challenge. After it happened, I was in a dark place, and I had a lot of support and stuff like that. And one of my friends, Brandy, she suggested that I start a social media challenge. A social media challenge, what is that? And that was kind of where the whole thing birthed. And she said, "Why don't you start a social media challenge based off the videos that you did with the kids?" And it was her idea, and it kind of birthed from there. Um, but I began to focus on ways that I could honor them. And when I started to focus on ways that I could honor them, it kind of led me to other more positive things. And even though that negative was still there, you got to try to focus as much as you can on not the negative, on the positive or neutral, or you just gotta kind of try to shift your thoughts, and it's hard, and in many cases it seems like it's impossible, but you just gotta continue to work on it. It's like a job. I mean, every day, just depending on what type of challenge you've gone through. It can be a very hard thing to do, and you just got to work at it all the time. And that's with anything in life.
Yeah, yeah. You
So,
talked about videos that you have done with them. Tell us a little bit about the affirmations that you used to do with Michaela and DJ.
well, I had the kids recite positive affirmations, and I would have my daughter say something, for example, like I am smart, I am beautiful, I can do anything I set my mind to do, I am a champion. DJ, I would have him say something, very similar to that. And what I believe it does is it starts to build like a confidence within them, a self-awareness within them, something that kind of roots and kind of grows over time. The value that it will have in a person. I think it's just real big on building self-awareness and creating a positive self-image for yourself, which really allows you to get through a lot of challenges and obstacles in life. So
yeah, and I wonder if those affirmations help. You said DJ was starting to come out of his shell. Do you think those affirmations may have contributed?
I really do. I believe that wholeheartedly. Yeah. I mean, he just started to have, I guess, show a little more of extroverted personality. He was kind of an introvert. He was still an introvert, but it just kind of made him brought him out of his shell, and it seemed like he had more confidence, and it really seemed like it made a difference. And I know it's something that makes a difference, not in just children, but all people.
Yeah, yeah. And so for you, what are the affirmations that you say? Have they changed since this has happened? What are the affirmations that you say?
Well, I have a list of affirmations that I say. Some are personal, and I have affirmations that I say for the social media challenge, and I think one of the ones that I said recently is I am focused, I am driven, and I'm working to become a better version of myself. And that is something that I work on, and something that's important to me. So that's an affirmation that I've been saying for the challenge. Um, and then I have other personal affirmations that I say to myself as well.
And I won't ask you to divulge those. I'll just ask this then. You have personal affirmations. Are they for a certain area of your life? Are they for future casting, for things that you want? When you say
All of the above.
okay.
Could be for things that I want to be better at, things that I want to overcome, goals that I want to accomplish. So yeah, I would, all of the above, I would say.
Okay. And what would you say to someone who is new on this journey? Because I hope that many will join me and others in this challenge, but maybe they've never said any kind of affirmation before.
It's the important part of it is positive self-talk and telling yourself positive things about yourself. Because that's how we build self-esteem. So you want to tell yourself positive things about yourself, and you can take a few angles. It can be something that you're not good at that you want to become better at, and maybe you want to have the accountability to help you become better at it, or you want to just make yourself aware of it. So you're kind of putting it into your psyche, so you eventually start like moving towards it and working to become better of it, and or just saying something positive about yourself, because it's so important.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think because of the way, and of course there are social anthropologists and psychologists, theories all about it, but we learn that esteem oftentimes by what others tell us about ourselves.
Right.
We make the norm when the norm should be what you're just saying. that we should be convincing ourselves, building of our self-confidence. But oftentimes we define ourselves as people of color, as wherever we are along the spectrum, as how we fit into the larger scheme. And so you say to people, because it's kind of almost deprogramming, right? Or reprogramming to say, I'm not going to spend my investment in what you think about me. I'm going to spend my investment in what I think about me, and work on improving what I think about me, improving how I feel about me, which is different. Most people look for people to tell them that they're beautiful or smart or kind, whatever it is, instead of saying that to themselves.
And the problem with that is if, somebody doesn't say that, then you don't believe that you have value, or you may not believe that you're enough, or you're less than what you really are. Everybody likes to have some sort of validation from other people, and they hear things from other people. It's, we're all human. There's not a person alive that doesn't like that and appreciate that. But it's okay to want it, but it's maybe not okay to need it. We all want it, but when it becomes a need, then it really can become a problem in our lives. Self-awareness is really important, and a positive self-image is really important. It's about the experience of one's own personality or individuality, and that's important, because that's how you kind of build in you the tools to overcome things. And we all have those things within ourselves. We're all enough. That was my affirmation for today. I am enough. Because a lot of times we don't feel like we're enough. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm enough. So I thought that was an important thing for me to affirm today in the challenge, that I am enough.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. I really think it is important, because if you don't affirm it, like you just said, it really won't be affirmed.
Yeah.
Not appropriately if you don't affirm it for yourself. I think it's what I call the art of self-coaching. It really is. You have to be a coach for yourself, and you have to be able to push yourself toward what you want to see and be. And so I'm wondering, is that what you had to do for yourself getting through this? Or were you, did this time push you to do that for yourself?
That was one of the many things that I had to do for myself, and practice it and work it. Yeah, absolutely. It was a very, very important piece of it. And really the dark days when I was really in a dark place after what happened with Michaela and DJ. I mean, positive affirmations, I found myself saying positive affirmations just like the kids did. And that's one of the things that I needed to do to help me be lifted from depression and thoughts of suicide and all types of negative things that I was going through. It's so, one of the things that I say in one of my speeches is that the kids kind of became the teacher, and I became the student, and I kind of started to do what they did, and that's what kind of helped me to really get through some really dark times. And there were other things too, but that was a really big piece of it.
What are some of the other things, if you can share with us?
Well, I mean, there were a ton of things like meditation, listening to positive things like motivational videos and or sermons, or anything that would kind of help me get out of a negative place, like exercise. That sends a lot of like positive endorphins through your body. So I mean, it was a lot of things. That's a few of them. There's a lot of things. I say meditation and just really giving yourself some time alone and some time to think and just be by yourself is so important. And it's so hard to spend time with yourself, and most of us are afraid to. But it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. And I was amazed when I first talked to you how you did not have formal therapy or counseling. I was amazed. Just because I keep saying this, but I could just only imagine, as much as I love kids and I and have your children, everybody's situation is unique. But you mentioned the exercise, you mentioned the reading, listening to sermons. Um, I was just amazed by that.
Well, and I don't really want people to take that message away from it, because I do believe in therapy and talking to people. It's not something that I'm opposed to. And, I've talked to so many people along the way, and maybe I didn't necessarily have formal therapy, but I would say that I had therapy from a lot of different angles. And the time that, because after what happened, I walked away from my career for a couple years, and I was just to myself, and I spent a lot of days, I mean, hours and hours every day, just reading, writing. Um, that was a form of therapy.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely a form of therapy, and I talked to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a lot of stuff in my journey. So I do believe in talking to people. I do believe in therapy. It's not something that I don't believe in. It's important. And I believe that we all have the tools within us to really overcome any obstacle that we can go through, but sometimes we don't know how to access those tools. And especially in moments like that, it's very important to talk to somebody, or to have wise counsel that can kind of lead us into a better place.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I was just amazed, but you're right. You had many different therapists and different modalities and forms, but uh, you certainly seem to have uh, come forward quite a bit. And have you returned to the workforce?
I did. Well, and when I left, I kind of started my own business. I started to do a lot of different things that are still kind of in the baby stage and hasn't really taken fruit and grown yet. But yeah, about a year ago, I did return back um, to my career. And being back, I'm just trying to find the balance to work on all the other things that I did when I had a lot more time off. So
Mhm,
that's been a little bit challenging for me, finding that balance.
mhm.
So
Are you happy to be back to the workforce?
yeah, I'm happy.
Okay.
But I'm happy when I'm working on the other things that are important to me, like talking to other people and reaching other people, and that's something that's very important to me. So if I'm not doing those things, then it tends to affect me in a negative way, I guess I would say.
Okay. And before you tell us about the challenge and how we can get involved, I asked you this the last time, whether or not you thought that you would love again and have children again. What are your thoughts today?
Um, yeah, I mean, well, possibly,
Okay.
possibly. I mean, I'm not opposed to uh, that.
Okay.
I'm not opposed to that.
Okay. And if you should and have children, what would you tell them about Michaela and DJ?
Hmm. I would. I would tell them everything. I don't know. I don't know specifically what I would tell them. I guess I would tell them about their personality. I still have a ton of pictures, stories and stuff like that, and uh, maybe talk to them about the challenge. I don't know. I've never thought about that
Okay.
question.
Speaking of the
Yeah.
challenge, tell us about the challenge, what we can do to get involved and how it works.
So we're doing a social media challenge called the hashtag My Little Champions Challenge. And I'm posting positive affirmations to social media using the hashtag My Little Champions Challenge. And, you know, I simply, I say positive affirmation about myself. And I end it with, I am a champion. And then I challenge somebody else to take the challenge and just hope to kind of spread that positive message around to everybody. I mean, there's enough negativity around us. There's enough other things around us, and it's good to promote and instill something that could really create a positive foundation in anybody, from children to adults to, you know, you name it. There's not anybody that it can't help.
Okay. So you want us to go live and do a video, record a video? What exactly do you want us to do?
You can do either one, but record a video ideally and post it to social media, any social media platform, and hashtag put the hashtag My Little Champions Challenge. And I would love for you to tag me in the video or send it to me in Messenger. And just like to see as many as possible. I think the first year that we did it, there were like 500 plus videos. Haven't been as many the years that's followed, but we'll hope we can come back and really get it going strong again. One of the encouraging things is, you know, after starting this challenge, like over the last several years, I can see on social media, like parents doing positive affirmations with their kids and stuff like that all over the place. So it's probably something that happened before. Maybe I didn't notice it, but, you know, now I seem to see it a lot. So, you know, that's very encouraging and it's very positive to see.
Yeah. And so it started May 1st. Does it go to the end of the month? How long is the challenge?
It goes to the end of the month. It's for mental health awareness. Mental health, to support mental health awareness month, and, you know, to help eliminate stigmas, to encourage people to kind of come forward and talk about things that they feel and that they might be afraid to talk about, or you know, might not want to bring up to people, or whatever the case may be. However you're feeling, it's normal and it's okay, and it's you know, a ton of people that's felt the same way you felt, or have gone through a similar situation that you've gone through. And, you know, it's okay to talk about anything, and that's how we overcome things is by talking about them.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned earlier that you have talked to a lot of people. What's your support system like?
My support system, well, I mean, I have a host of family and friends that, you know, are there for me if I need them. You know, I tend to be a loner in a lot of cases, but there's a lot of people that I know have my back, and you know, I talk to frequently and, you know, have access to. So I got a pretty big umbrella, I would say.
Okay. All right. I think I got two other pictures that I wanted to show. Tell me, who are these people in this picture?
That is Michaela and DJ, of course, those two little people there, and Kamal and Cynthia. Kamal is like a brother and a mentor to me, and you know, that's his lovely wife Cynthia, and, you know, they were very important to me and the kids, and I just happen to have a picture of us all. I think we were at an event at their house. They invited the kids over.
Okay. And then I do also have this picture of you and Michaela.
You know, that was actually, believe it or not, because I'm out there in a t-shirt, that was Thanksgiving Day one year. Believe it or not, it would have to be, I think it was maybe in the 70s, the temperature.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
And so did Michaela love outdoors? Was she an
Yeah.
kind of girl, a daddy's girl, true daddy's girl?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about your organization and where we can go to keep in touch with you.
Um, well, My Little Champions, I started in memory of Michaela and DJ because they are, my little champions, and they were two champions. Started a few months after they passed away, and the goal of it is to become a nonprofit, and I'm still working towards that. Um, but you can follow My Little Champions or myself, Daryl Walker, on social media. uh, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and trying to grow out to some more social media platforms. Um, so we're working on that. So I love to be connected to whoever wants to be connected. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I greatly appreciate you for coming and sharing and keeping us posted on this challenge. I think it is an awesome thing to do and an awesome way to celebrate the memory of your two little angels. Before you go, again, there are people in and around the Love and Stuff community who, especially coming out of this pandemic, hopefully we're coming out of it, have experienced, tremendous loss, tremendous trial, um, hardships, and the like. And I know each situation is different, but what would you leave them in the way of parting thoughts about how they can win? Because I love in um, your mission, My Little Champion's mission is to honor the lives of two little angels by promoting positive self image, eliminating mental health stigmas, and letting the world know that in the face of adversity, you can win.
I would say again, big thing is power of focus. The things that we focus on. If we focus on negative things, bad things, then we're really going to continue to stay in a negative, a bad, a low place. If we begin to focus on positive things, good things, um, if there's not anything positive or good that's happening right now, focus on what you want to happen and where you want to be. Um, that's one of the biggest things I would say, the power of focus and understanding that your thoughts are actually things, and whatever you're thinking about is going to manifest into your real reality. So if you're thinking negative things, there's going to be a lot of negative things in your real reality. If you try to think positive things, then you're going to start to, if not head into a positive direction, at least start to turn or look into a positive direction. And it doesn't happen overnight. You got to continue to work on it. You just got to work on it and work on it and work on it, and not stop and not give up, man. Another thing I would say, and it's too many things to really sum up quickly, but positive self-talk, the things that you tell yourself. The things that you tell yourself are so important. If you think you're not good enough, or you're not enough, or you're not enough to get through whatever obstacle you're going through, that's a powerful message that you're sending to yourself, and your subconscious starts to figure out a way to make that reality, and it makes it a reality. Um, so really, it's what you're thinking about.
Thank you so much for that. And I forgot to mention, you mentioned it, that you do public speaking. People can reach out to you if they want to have you come to speak at events or to their schools or to their children. Tell us a little bit about the kind of speaking engagements that you typically do.
I've been probably, with the pandemic, I've been removed for a little bit, but before the pandemic, I was speaking at high schools and different events. I think Pontiac High School was one that I spoke at. Renaissance High School. Had an event at Novi Library. Spoke at a church in Warren, and really that was kind of the beginning stages of me. I was just trying to tell my story and, you know, encourage other people. And, you know, that's something that I look to continue to do. And, you know, I want to thank you for, you know, having me come on. You kind of gave me a nudge because I've been kind of removed from posting and making videos and doing all the things. And so I appreciate you giving me that nudge to get back on here and tell my story. And because you actually gave me some motivation, and I appreciate that. So, and I needed it, and you didn't stop, and I'm glad you didn't stop, and I needed that. So,
yeah. And as much as you say you needed it, I think that we need it. I think your story is compelling. I haven't forgotten it from the first time that we talked, and I feel moved to help you celebrate their memory. Maybe
appreciate that.
it's my sheer love for children. I absolutely adore children. Or maybe it's the power of the story that though we part from people in the earth school, that love still remains. And that love can get stronger. It can lift us up. As you said it before last interview, that you felt lifted from one spot out of depression into another spot. I believe that that's love lifting you. And if love
Love
can
transcends
lift you,
pain.
yeah, if love can lift you, it can lift everybody else. And
Hmm.
so that's why I think your story is so powerful. And I just want to help herald it so that everybody hears your story, because I think there are so many people that are experiencing so many things that don't have, you said it so poignantly, people have the tools inside of them, but they don't know how to access those tools. And if we could just be a vehicle for people to be able to access those tools, what a better world we'll have, and more people who are able to be little champions or allow the little champions in them to stand up. So thank you for sharing your story. And I'm going to keep nudging you to continue to share it.
Thank
And
you.
it will sometimes be painful, but there is some purpose in that pain and some power in that pain that I think other people should hear and know. So thank you so much, Dariel Walker, for being with us, and I'll be having you back. I'm going to be checking in on the challenge and checking in on the hashtag and encouraging everybody to do it as well.
Marcus, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
All right.
That's an amazing story. That's an amazing brother and an amazing story. I am always moved talking to him and thinking about him. You know, you meet some people in life and you never forget their impact in the small time that you've had to talk to them. And I think, again, two of the reasons why it has impacted me so much is people that know me know I love children. And I think that children and seniors have a special place in God's heart. I just believe it. And they have a special place in mine. But the second thing is that as a lifelong learner, I learned an important lesson from just observing Daryl's work and witness, that your darkest, deepest trials will take you through dark and deep places, but there are always going to be people and tools to help you move forward. You've got to be a willing and active participant in how those tools play out in your life. And it seems like a simple lesson, but it's a pretty tough lesson to put into play. So I say to you, maybe you've lost a parent. I don't mean lost, you don't know where they are. You've experienced the loss of a parent or the loss of a sibling, like me, the loss of a sibling, loss of a parent. Maybe the loss of a spouse like Brenda Landry, who I'm thinking of, loss of a mother like Lori Wesby, I'm thinking of her, loss of a dad like Christina Smith, I'm thinking of her. Maybe you lost your significant other And the grief that you're experiencing is through divorce. Maybe you've lost your career by a misstep. I saw a very noted young man who's lost his career because of a misstep, and he may end up serving some time for it. Those are places of deep, dark pain and grief. But don't give up. Find the tools, find your tribe, and apply them both generously until you're able to look into that mirror and make your affirmations, until you're able to awaken the little champion in you. It's a lesson that we're learning at the feet of someone who had to go through it, but it's a powerful and valuable lesson. You are poised still, even after divorce, after death, after layoff, after loss. You are still poised to win. I'm Marcus Holmes, and I am honored that you stopped by to join us on Love and Stuff. Don't forget, tomorrow, join Darren Williams with Love and the Scriptures at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for 30 minutes. If you want to know what the scriptures are saying about love, Darren is a gifted preacher, educator, historian, and he will walk us through some nuggets about how the love of the scriptures apply to you and me. And then join us on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will, for Mother's Day, play your Mother's Day videos. So we're waiting for you to drop them in the inbox, and we will play those videos. It's a tribute to Mom. Whether your mother is here in the earth school still, or if she is an angel on the balcony of heaven cheering you on, we'd like to have a 3 to 5 minute video from you that we can share on Sunday afternoon with others within the Love and Stuff community and without. Our hope in doing that is just to spread a little bit of love to those who may be missing their moms and those who may be disconnected from their moms. I would tell you, because my mom is one of those angels on the other side, what I wouldn't do to be able to hug her again. So if your mother is still in the earth school, I want to encourage you to let the amount of love for your mother increase above any negativity or experience that you've had, because you only get one. I'm Marcus Holmes, the Love Activist. I'm so excited that you've joined us. I hope you will do two things. Click share and then tag 5 of your closest Facebook friends, YouTube events, Twitch TV friends, 5 of the more popular ones, to join in this content and keep the discussion going. Thanks for being here. We'll see you soon.